We want to make sure that anyone who wasn't able to attend today will still have access to all of the amazing resources we're going to share with you today. So it is just after 3:30 here, Pacific time in Arizona, where we don't change the clocks. My name is Jessica Swan, and I am the community manager for the Infiniscope project. So I see a lot of new names online. I also see a lot of new old faces here, people that we're familiar with. So what we thought we would do is make sure that everyone in the room is aware of what Infiniscope is, what we have to offer, and kind of give you an opportunity to get a sneak peek at all the different types of content we have available. Pretty confident that if you've been around Infiniscope for a while, you're still going to find things that are new to you, things that you didn't know existed. So let's start with a couple of quick introductions especially for the new folks that are here online. As I said, I'm the community manager for the Infiniscope project. I am a former classroom teacher. I was in the classroom for 9 years. I taught earth science and physical science and a few sophomores here and there. So I got a little biology that was in there. I have been out of the classroom now for, oh gosh, I hate to say it, for about 12 years. So I've been working in the NASA world for the last 12 years. We here in what's called the Center for Education Through Exploration at Arizona State University have been working on making our introductions much more accessible. So a little more information about me that's not really career related. I have 3 children. My oldest graduated from college just last year, and she's working in a cancer lab here at ASU, so super proud. I still have 2 teenagers that I'm working through, bringing to the end zone. And I consider myself an explorer. So I like to get out there and find new things and go new places and find things on my bucket list that I didn't know were actually on my bucket list. As a matter of fact, last week, what was on my bucket list was I took an airboat ride for the first time. So got to see some gators out there in Florida. So anyway, I have 2 others who are here with me today. I have Mel Narish and Sina Kirk. So I'm gonna go ahead and hand the microphone over to Sina.
Okay, welcome everyone. It's awesome to have so many beautiful, excited, fresh, and familiar faces on our webinar today. So my name is Sina Kirk. I'm the Marketing Communications Manager for the Infiniscope project. So my job is to help get the word out about all the wonderful things that we do and to support you as you're using them and to just kind of be there for anything that I'm needed for. So I guess a little bit about myself, since Jess kind of led the way there. I am a former classroom teacher. I taught science for 10 years in Washington State and also abroad. I taught for 3 years in Northern Italy. I've been at the center now for about 4 years. So I've been out of teaching for about 5, I believe. So, but it's really awesome to be able to work with all of you educators, and it really helps me stay in the moment with teaching, because I do miss working with the students. So thank you. Mel.
Hello, I'm Mel Narish, and I am a learning designer on the team. So I help with making new things on these digital learning experiences. And I also get to collaborate with the Infiniscope team here for different trainings and things like that. So I'm really excited to be part of this group today. And I've taught in the classroom. I taught 4th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 11th and 12th grades in various subjects. And I'd say for a new random fact, I just adopted a rescue puppy, or not a puppy, 2-year-old rescue. And so I'm going through all the training and behavior and everything like that for an extraordinarily floofy Pomeranian. I've never had a Pom, so this is a new experience for me. So I'll pass it back to Jess.
Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much for your introductions. So, as the community manager, it is my job to make sure that we're building relationships and helping you understand who we are as part of that relationship building. So, all right. So we're going to go ahead and start to dive into a little bit about Infiniscope. Infiniscope's so good that we have to say lessons twice on the opening screen. Those lessons are so good. Lessons. All right, moving on. So what is Infiniscope? So Infiniscope is basically a digital teaching network. What do we mean by a digital teaching network? Well, we start with the content that we develop. So a lot of the things we'll show you today are things that are built by us here at ASU. These are all NGSS designed and aligned. They are adaptive and they are interactive digital learning experiences. Usually when you hear about things that are digital, what you are normally hearing about is something that is interactive. It's a simulation. It's something to tinker with. It's not always the case that you find something that is also what we call adaptive. When we're talking about adaptive, what we mean is it's almost like a choose your own adventure. So it's something where the students have some agency sometimes, so they can make decisions about pathways that they want to go down, or sometimes they don't have the agency and we force them down pathways based on their lack of knowledge, or maybe they have higher knowledge. So it allows us to be able to flex up and flex down for the students to kind of meet them where they are. We want to fill those knowledge gaps. We want to correct those misconceptions, and being adaptive allows us to do that. We focus exclusively on the Earth and space sciences. And the reason we do that is because we are in fact NASA funded. We have been NASA funded for the last 7 years. And our catalog reflects 7 years of digital content development. And we make all of our content geared primarily towards the middle school and high school. We do also dabble in higher ed. Often what we find is that university instructors also find the things that we're teaching at middle school and high school are helping in the community colleges, and also helping in some of those entry level courses in the higher ed institutions. Not only do we build these things, but we also make the technology that we use available to the members of our community. So the very technological platform we use to build these adaptive learning experiences, we make those tools available to you so that you can in fact create your own. Ultimately is our goal to catalyze creators. We are here as a community to empower you with these tools to create digital learning experiences. And then finally, number 3, I kind of teased it already, we train educators. So we train people just like you. We train you. Some people here on the line we've trained a handful of times. They've engaged with us to learn more about how they can use these digital tools to create their own adaptive and place-based learning experiences. And ultimately, it is our goal. We want to transform learning to embrace exploration. We want to explore the unknown, and we want to be able to do it at scale. And that's ultimately why we've chosen to go the digital route. Digital enables us to be able to take our explorations at scale. We can reach more students via digital. And we use what's called the exploration learning loop when we create all of our content, because we know that good science is always starting with the piquing of curiosity, and curiosity will then further drive exploration. We'll dig in, we try to figure out why does that thing happen? And then we make some discoveries. And every time we make a discovery, it always spawns more curiosity. And we as educators, I mean, here at ETX Center, we call this the exploration learning loop. This is the center of everything that we create, whether we're working on this NASA project, or we're working for the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, or we're working for HHMI. It doesn't matter who we're working for. This is the core. But we as K-12 educators know this more as the inquiry-based model. So we drive inquiry through these digital learning experiences we create. So what we're going to do today, we're going to split up into different rooms. Actually, I don't want to do this quite yet. Let me do one other thing. Before we get into the different rooms and the types of content, what I want to do is just a real quick overview of where you're going to be able to find these learning experiences once you leave this webinar. What you're going to do is you're going to go to infiniscope.org. And if you are not already a member, I highly recommend that you join, because you get access to additional tools and content as a member. Everything we offer to you for free. So once you are a member and you log in, you're going to turn your educator mode on, and you can kind of scroll down and see some of the featured items or some of our newest items. But really the best place to go is going to be going here to the full catalog in our content library. And once you go into the full catalog, you'll be able to see all of the learning experiences that we have created. This top row, these are all the lessons that we have created under the Infiniscope project. So these are deep, these are interactive, they're very rich, they're long experiences. These are opportunities for your students to be able to get in and start playing with the content. We also have collections, so things like Kingdom and Peril. Kingdom and Peril is it's 3 lessons in 1 that teach you all about how eclipses work. We also have, pause for my computer to catch up. We also have visualizations. These are things like simulations. These are interactives. So interactives you can use as they are, or these are things that you can actually drop into your own lessons, and you can create learning experiences around these. And then finally, we also have contributed content. So contributed content, these are things that are created by educators in our community and shared with you as members of the community. So you're going to see bits and pieces of all of these experiences. The one other thing to share with you on each one of these learning experiences, you click on it and you go to educator info and go to viewing the resources. What you're going to see at the bottom is there are 3 ways that you can utilize this lesson. You can launch it. Just click the button and you're in, you're playing, you're experiencing it. You also have the opportunity to enroll. So we have 2 different pathways for enrollment, because we recognize that not every school district, not every school has what's called a learning management system. An LMS is something like Canvas or Moodle or Blackboard. Not everybody uses that. Some people use Google Classroom instead, which is not a learning management system. So to use something like this, you need another pathway to be able to enroll your students in this digital content. So you can choose whether you want to use our, what we call an LMS Lite version. So you don't have to have an LMS, you just enroll your students using their email address. Or you can choose to integrate it into your Canvas instance or your Blackboard instance or your Moodle instance. And we give you all of the instructions on how to do that. And then finally, if you just want to get in and tinker with it, maybe you're really into this digital stuff and you want to look under the hood, you can click this customize to get started. We will make a copy of that lesson for you and put it into your account. And then you can go in and you can start tinkering with it. You can break it if you want. That's totally fine, because you can always go make another copy and break that one too if you want. But these are options that are available to you as members of our network. If you're not a member of the network, you are limited to launch only, and you're only able to launch the lessons that we've created. As members, that gets you access to all the visualizations, the contributed content. Okay, so that's just a quick overview of where you're going to be able to find content. Now, the remainder of our time here together today is really going to be kind of like a more of a round robin sort of thing. So Sina and Mel and I are going to go into separate rooms. And in each room, we're taking a segment of content, because we recognize that not all content is going to be of interest to you. We want you to self-select, adaptive, if you will, choose your own adventure. So we'll be in these rooms and we will be repeating ourselves every 10 minutes. So you can hop into a room and hang out with us for 10 minutes to learn a little bit about the content in that room, and then hop into another room until you have completed your full round robin. Or if there's only one room of interest to you, you can hop into that and then be done. So our very first room, room 1, is going to be facilitated by Sina. And Sina is going to be talking about, let's see, 4 of our learning experiences that we have created here at Infiniscope. So we have one that is the search for life. We have one that is Tilt Our World, all about seasons. We have the phases of the moon. As you can imagine, it's all about the phases of the moon. And then we also have down here in the lower left-hand corner, you'll see this is our Kingdom in Peril series. This is all about eclipses. I should probably backtrack and say that the search for life is all about the march through time, looking at the geologic record and mass extinctions along the way, or the major life events along the way, and how we use these life events to help us explore space. Then she'll also be talking about 2 visualizations. One of the visualizations you'll see here is phases of matter simulation. And then the one down here, we've actually taken the phases of the moon simulation and we've turned it into kind of a mini game. So she'll share that one with you in room 1. In room 2, we will have Mel, and Mel will be talking all about teacher created virtual field trips. So one thing we did mention is that we do virtual field trips also. So many of the experiences that we build are virtual field trips, and we also have a tool that enables teachers to create their own virtual field trips. So she's going to be talking about some of her favorite teacher created virtual field trips, including this one in the upper left-hand corner is going to be the Mississippi, talking about sculpting the Twin Cities landscape. She's also got a River King life cycle. So this one is located in, is it North Carolina, South Carolina? North Carolina. We also have Exploring Physics. So this one is literally located out on a putt-putt course. And then finally, the Glen Canyon Dam. So how a dam works. And then I will be staying here in the main room, and I'm going to be talking all things star stuff. So we'll be talking the Star Party. So this is a lesson that we created here and with Infiniscope. I also have a simulation that I'll show you, which is my brain just broke. Deep time. Here we go. So it's astronomical and geologic time. I have another simulation down here in the lower right-hand corner that is Stellar Nursery, so you can create your own stars. I have 2 teacher-created products, one that is The Secret Lives of Stars, and the other is the Chemistry of Stars. And then finally, I also have a contributed content that was done here with one of our university instructors at ASU. We will be recording breakout rooms. We just learned that there's a new way to do that. So we're gonna take that for a spin today. All right, so Sina, can I get you to create our 2 breakout rooms? And we're gonna set these up so that you all can float in and float out. And just know that we will be repeating ourselves every 10 minutes, rinse and repeat.
And just to clarify, we're going to repeat 3 times, right? So everybody could go to every room if they want.
Yeah, that's correct.
Cool.
Cool. And we're going to tell you in these rooms, we're going to tell you what we as teachers love about these products. That's the big thing, what we love about it. All right. Once we have our breakout rooms ready.
They are ready.
All right. And so you all can start to join a room, and we'll give you the heads up in about 10 minutes to switch if you wish. And I'll be hanging here in the main room. How to choose rooms. So you should be able to see breakout rooms under the More option. Are you able to see that? Ali? Ali or Ali? Oh.
Hi, Jess.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. Ignore my camera. Something is going on with it. But I don't see actually how I want to stay in your room. I just don't know how to go to another one later. Oh, breakout rooms. There it is.
Yep,
There's
breakout.
actually a tab at the bottom called breakout rooms.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. Let me go back here because the question is which room? Room 1 or room 2? So room 1 is going to be all sun, earth, moon arrangement. Room 2 is going to be teacher created virtual tours. All right. And then I'll be here in the main room talking star stuff. All right. I'm going to go ahead and get started with star stuff if y'all are ready to go. All right. So here I am in star stuff. I'm going to go ahead and start this. This is a screen capture. It's not a promo video yet. But in Star Party. So Star Party literally is set up with a narrative of we are hosting a star party. So we have attendees that are coming to our party. Those attendees all come with either misconceptions or they come with accurate representations of how stars work, how the stellar life cycles work, why stars look a certain color. What I really love about this particular learning experience is that students are able to create their own stars. They're able to see them at different stellar masses and see what the ultimate end cycle is going to be. We still brought in the HR diagram, even though the HR diagram is not technically found in NGSS. There's so much about HR diagram that is still beneficial for students to see where a star falls during its life cycle. One of the other things that I really like about this particular lesson is that there's a summative assessment at the end. We build an entire narrative during this experience, which is really about, it's about the ways of knowing and about the kinds of data that you collect for ways of knowing. And so there are ways of knowing where you've got, just a single data set where you've made a single observation, but then there are ways of knowing where you've got a wide variety of data that you can pull together, scientific knowledge, you pull together this wide variety of data to help you better understand how the thing works. And so at the conclusion of this, the actual summative is that there's a debate between these two individuals, because one says, well, I think this is how it works. And the other one says, well, I think this is how it works. And then you, as the learner, after you've gone through all of this experience, have to describe, well, I think this person is right, and this is why. And you're literally right here, you're sorting the evidence between the two folks. Here's their statement. Is this something is this the evidence that they're using? You're sorting their evidence. And then defining what the ultimate difference is between their two types of evidence. I want you to also notice that down in the lower right-hand corner, we're providing feedback along the way. So we're here to help guide the learner. And you'll see the personal experience. So Dave's way of knowing is more of a personal experience where, let me go back just a smidgen. That's more than a smidgen. Where Neil's way of knowing is more of a scientific way of knowing. So they actually have to define that out of the gate. So that's kind of just the gist of Star Party. They get to create their own stars. They're playing with different star colors. They're playing with where they are in their life cycle, what they will be at the end of their life cycle based on their stellar mass. We're looking at the different ways of knowing, and we're identifying misconceptions and we're correcting them on our own. So we're actually putting the misconceptions students typically have about stellar life cycles into this learning experience, and we're addressing them right out of the gate. They're the one who is correcting those. Okay, so then our next experience that we're going to talk about, it's not really, I'm on to something different here. So I'm going to talk with you now about solar system formation. So solar system formation was developed in collaboration with an instructor here at ASU named Molly Simon. words. So Molly is really interested in the difference between the way students learn in a digital environment versus pen and paper environments. So we collaborated with her to create this particular learning experience. And so some of the things that I kind of want to show you are here in the simulation. We're able to plot points. So we can pick different places that are here in the solar system. I can zoom in and drop a probe and plot the point. I can zoom out and you can see there's like the little probe right here. You see this little guy right here. I can plot all of these little points and you'll see that as I am dropping these, I can't go outside of that yellow zone. They'll stay within the yellow zone. But you'll see I'm getting my graph that's forming as we go. So what is the distance from the sun in astronomical units and what is the overall temperature in Kelvin? We also look at materials. That's not the one I want. Condensation temperatures prediction. Oh, here we go. Selecting materials, and I'm gonna do, what do I want? Let's do hydrogen. Sure. So we're gonna plot hydrogen. So you'll see that I am currently in a liquid phase. I'm gonna plot my point. Plot my point. Plot my point, and it tells me what all of my, did it condense? Yes. Plot my point. Plot my point. Okay, well, what about, that's all I can do. So you see, we've got this locked out that they're only able to drop liquids here. Anyway, long story short, we can talk about the mass of a planet. We talk about outer planets and inner planets. They also plot their planets. So I can drop test objects here. So I can put, we'll put that planet there. And I'll put that planet there. And that planet there. I don't know. It doesn't look like I got any of those right. There we go. Okay, I moved it. Oh, he's right behind there. I see him. It's right behind here. Let's see. What else do we do over here? Planetary migration. There's also, we do the actual, why is it not scrolling? Oh, summary. We also get the planet somewhere, like our planet somewhere. And for some reason, I'm not seeing that. My apologies. This one went a little deeper than I thought. Oh, plot planets? No. Well, I am not doing great here, y'all. Oh, that's a nice one. Choose a model. What we think the actual distribution of materials are in the solar system. And a description. Cross line. Anyway, there's some good stuff that's in here. And I mean, as a teacher, especially if I'm looking at the different materials and their condensation temperatures, I can really see this as being hugely beneficial for my students, at least as to drawing it home as to, it's not, when we talk about condensation, we're not just talking about water, that it applies to all of these materials. All right, I'm going to hop over to the chemistry of stars. So the chemistry of stars is a teacher created lesson. What I like about her lesson is, one, she starts out with the essential questions and she also gives you what the standards are that go with that lesson. She talks specifically here about fireworks. So she's got a little video that she put in here. It talks a little bit about it. She's also got a check for understanding that's here on the side. She's created feedback. Let's see if this one's working today. Not for me. Something's not right. No. Okay. She's got something here about nuclear fusion. So she's got an entire video about this. She also has this area about organizing your thoughts. So she's actually put in a summative here to help students out along the way. And then she has one thing as far as a review, and she allows them to put it all into their own words. The Secret Lives of Stars, my favorite thing about this particular thing is that she has built this cute little interactive. She created her own interactive using these little pop-ups. So I can click on this pop-up. I get some information about the star life cycle. I get an image. If I go down here to the black hole, I actually get a video here about black holes and some extra information and images, even some relatively recent stuff, which is great. So yeah, she's given them the opportunity to kind of explore all of the different arms of the life cycle. And then she also applied the HR diagram here, and she asked them to drop a pin on where the sun is in the HR diagram. And again, she asks them to review, put it in their own words, what they've learned here. Then, whoops, thought I was already here. I did not mean to enroll, but here we go. Okay, Stellar Nursery. So Stellar Nursery is the simulation that powers the Star Party lesson. So we've given you the simulation in case you just want to tinker with it. So to create a star, I'm going to click new star, and then I'm going to click and drag to gather some stellar material, and I'm going to go as big as it'll go, which is 25. And then I can start to play. I can click on it and zoom in. I get extra information about it. I can also slide these away if I feel like they're in my way. Shows me where it is on the HR diagram, what its composition is, even gives me the bright line spectra, which that excites me to no end just on that part alone. I loved doing that in school. Anyway, I do want to show you the composition, which shows you how the composition will change over time. I'm gonna make this go a little faster though. There we go. Oh, there's little planets that have formed. You can see them. Little tiny guys. There we go. And as we progress through time, I get impatient, so I make it go faster. There we go. Hey, hey, helium. And that end stage goes so quick. But the good news is we can always go backwards. Click and drag. And see what it looks like throughout time. Just super fun. And I got a black hole. Like I knew what I was doing. I got a black hole. All right, my last one. There we go. And this one is astrological time or deep time, where we combine geologic time and astrological time. Now, I will tell you that on the website, we have geologic time, and then we also have astronomical time separated. But this one is deep time, which has everything. So we can, where's my little button? 1 moment, please. There it is. So you'll see down here, I have a button. So I can see the complete timeline. I'm gonna click that. No. I love it when things typically work until you're trying to demo it and things don't work. All right, I'm gonna build the timeline myself. Okay, we're gonna build the timeline ourselves right now. And the reason we're gonna build the timeline ourselves right now is because I want to remind you, if you've ever done this in the classroom, you're using that adding machine tape. We've all done it. If you've ever taught the timeline, you have done the adding machine tape and given your kids the meter stick and told them how much time, or had them calculate how much a meter is in time and how much a centimeter is in time. And then they have to tick it off, and it's like an entire class period usually. And then they get these big long things and they're still not really sure, but all they know is that humans are only this little piece. But here we can do it by just drag and drop. So I'm going to drag the Big Bang down here as far as I can go. And then I'm going to have my cosmic background radiation. And then what's really cool is that I can actually zoom in on spaces because I have to zoom in, especially when I get up here to current day. And we put our birth. Here's me, the very beginning. And zoom in some more. So now you don't have to use all of that adding machine tape. You can just zoom in and drag and drop. But there is actually an option here for the complete timeline where it puts it all together for you. And we'll see if it's going to work now. Oh, technology. Well, save yourself the adding machine tape. That's what I'm going to say. All right, so I've officially run through all of the ones that I was planning to here in the main room.
There's a question in the chat.
Let's see. Thanks, Richard. Will we need to open an Argus account this year, or will it be implemented with Infiniscope platform? If you have an Infiniscope account, you already have an Argus account. So for those of you that are new, Argos is the delivery system for all of our content. So that's your account is kind of managed, all of your content is managed through there. So if you create a lesson, if you use any of our lessons, if you enroll your students, it's all done through Argos. All right, so I'm going to rinse and repeat, and I'm going to start over with where I am in the main room. All right, welcome. So this is the room where we're talking all star stuff. Okay, so the thing we're going to start with here is Star Party. So Star Party, the things that I love about Star Party, one, it's actually a star party. So you have participants that are coming to a star party, participants that are coming with, I'm going to pause right here. These participants are coming with questions. And some of these questions are misconceptions. And some of them are like this is correct. These are like, yes, that's the right question and answer combo. So you, as the student or the learner, go through and you're helping to answer some of these misconceptions or correct some of the misconceptions along the way for your Star Party participants. So we give you access to our Stellar Nursery simulation, which I'm going to show you here shortly. So you as the learner that's helping the participants work through their misconceptions can use the simulation to try to find the answer to the question, and then you can kind of go to them and answer the question. So you're actually able to create stellar masses of different sizes, up to 25 solar masses. You'll see that we do have the HR diagram that is part of the simulation. Let me back up just a smidgen here. You can zoom in on a star that you create. We have you create different, very specific sizes of stars so that you can go in and kind of explore the end cycle of those and just overall the functionality, how these different star systems will work. At the conclusion of the experience, we actually have these gentlemen are in a debate. So I'll even back up just a little bit further to come to what the actual question is. So it starts here with, it's fascinating that stars live millions to trillions of years. And this one says, I don't think that's right. All stars live forever. And so from here, they're going to present their evidence, the evidence that they use to support their point of view. Once they present all of their evidence, then you are asked to sort their evidence. Hi, Sina.
Hi, I can't record in my room.
Oh.
I don't know if you need to make me a host or.
One moment, please.
Okay.
You're a co-host. We did this before. Okay, well, I'll make you a host.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, now that we have that problem resolved. Okay, where was I? I was talking Star Party. sorting their evidence. So they're going to end up sorting all of the evidence that they each have to support their idea. Now, here's the big thing. One of these is coming with a scientific way of knowing, which is going to be just personal experience. This is what I've observed in my life. And so there's going to be a whole series of evidence that somebody uses to support what their observations are, what their beliefs are. And then you have the scientific way of knowing, which is it's all of the broad evidence from a variety of data points that you can bring together to support this one particular way of knowing. Both are valid ways of knowing, but if we're looking at the scientific way of knowing and what we do as scientists and understanding the world around us, that's really our ultimate goal. So we have the students actually sort that evidence. We have this individual explain all of the multiple lines of evidence that they use to support their concept. And then the students are then asked, as I said before, they're going to sort all of the evidence. So what is Dave using as his evidence to support that they live forever? And that's a little further here. You see you've got this feedback that's happening. So we're telling them which of these responses are incorrect so they can move them around and get them correct. Now, I'm asked to describe what is the difference between Neil's and Dave's evidence. And then finally, you'll see there was feedback there. And then what evidence represents personal experience? Is that Neil or Dave? And then whose evidence represents science as a way of knowing? Again, Neil or Dave. And so again, that is the summative assessment for the entire STAR Party. Once we've resolved all of the misconceptions that our STAR Party participants have presented to us. Okay, so that's it for STAR Party. So now I'm going to go over to solar system formation. Solar system formation is it's a lesson that was created in collaboration with an instructor here at ASU. Her name is Molly Simon, and she is really interested in the differences in the way that learners will learn between digital products versus pen and paper products. So she wanted to create this lesson that she could actually use in her own research, and then she gave us a copy of it so that we could share it with our community if they found that it was valuable to use with their students. So ultimately, the major things that are covered in this particular lesson are the relationship between the distance of the sun from the sun and condensation temperature, the relationship between the distance of the sun and condensation temperature related to the composition of a planet. They identify the frost line within the solar system and how that relates to a planetary composition. And then also why giant planets are found outside the frost line of a sample exoplanetary system. So the thing that I really wanted to show you is that in the simulation, here we go. The simulation is virtually set up in this sort of way where you have some sort of object that you're going to drop. You'll plot the point and then you'll see where it is here over on the graph. So here's my test object. I'm going to drop my probe. I'll plot the point and you'll see where it lands here. Here's my distance in astronomical units and what the overall temperature is in Kelvin. I'm going to move it and plot that point. And I can even zoom in. You'll see I have a zoom bar so I can get real close to the sun if I wanted. I'm going to drop one right there, plot that point. Come here and plot that point. Okay, so that's just kind of generally how that part of the simulation works. I can also move the probes. I can look at the different materials. So let me do, where is it? They make some predictions about where they think these different materials will condense, and then they're given the different materials that they can select. So they can choose between rocks and metals, hydrogen, helium gas, or hydrogen compounds. So let's try rocks and metals. So if I do rocks and metals, here's my first rock. And I'm gonna drop the rock here. And I'm gonna plot my point. And plot again, plot again, plot again. Again, so I'm getting a different graph than what I did previously. And then there's even frost line. So we bring in, so here is the frost line. And if I do, where is it? That's not that. No, that's not what we're doing. Okay. Oh, I know why. So I'm looking at this lesson in preview, so anything that I've answered before isn't actually showing up here. So this is a screen that if a student goes through it, like as a student, their prior response will be graphed here. And so this will be laid on top of their data so that they can interpret how their data coordinates with the frost line. And then finally, let's see, you can do an exoplanetary system. You can plot your planets. So you're given 3 test object planets. And I'm going to plot those. Okay. It's a lot of plotting. And then there is a summative where they have to put, oh, not that one. I thought she had a, I swear I just saw it. Sorry, I'm clicking everywhere. But you'll see that I have to select if it's closer or further from the star. I'm gonna get feedback telling me I'm totally wrong because I'm completely answering off the wall. So anyway, so it's a good opportunity for your students to be able to connect the condensation of different materials. It's not just about water, and sometimes I think kids forget that that it's not just about water, but our planets themselves are condensing into planets as a result of the location within the solar system. Let's see. Let me see, I've got some questions over here. Lisa, your question about NASA as a sponsor. NASA's always been a sponsor for us. It doesn't change the fact that we're just a NASA partner. So, you know, you can't really pass NASA websites or things into other platforms. So their websites typically have blockers on them, but you can always build content around NASA assets if they sit outside of a NASA webpage. I don't know if that helps or not. Let's see, is it possible to simulate the spaceship motion there? Are you talking about the probe? I'm not sure which, this particular piece, is that what the question is related to? And then the last question from Lisa is this particular lesson part of? Yes, so this particular lesson is part of Molly's NSF grant. So she built it for her NSF grant, but we get to use it. Okay, so the next one is Chemistry of Stars. So Chemistry of Stars, this is a teacher created product. So you'll see here that she lists out the essential questions, and she also, her NGSS alignment. She does a connection with fireworks. So she has a little video that's going to load here in just a moment. That's all about the different compounds that create fireworks. Different elements are compounds that will create fireworks. And then she goes into a thing about nuclear fusion. So she's got a video and some descriptions, and she also has a little formative that's built in there. Nuclear binding energy. So she's got her own graph here. The one thing that I actually really love about this particular lesson is that before she really gets into having them be more metacognitive about their learning, she actually has them put together this sort of formative. So it's a little drag and drop where she can put some of these answers within these little spaces. So that she can kind of help them put words to the way that the project works or the product works. And then once they've done that, now they're asked to describe it in their own words. So I really like the way that she scaffolds this particular lesson. And then if you go over to The Secret Lives of Stars, built by the same teacher, in this case, again, she gives you essential questions and she gives you the standards. She talks a little bit about, the different stages of stellar life cycles. She talks about why different mass stars will create different end states. But the thing I really love about this particular lesson is that she actually created her own interactive here. So she didn't actually need a simulation. She just created something that allows students to be able to interact with it and learn. And in this interactive, she was able to throw some information. She's got a video. She makes sure to include all of her credits. She's even got current imagery that's part of this. So, that's, as a teacher, I think this is the kind of stuff that if I had this tool available to me when I was teaching, I would have been all over this, making this kind of thing. She also has included the HR diagram where there's this little drag and drop pin where she just kind of uses this as another assessment, a little formative before she gets to her summative where they're going to review what they've learned. And then my last two things here are the simulations. So I have a stellar nursery simulation. So this is kind of the thing that runs behind the scenes in Star Party. So you can create a star. Let me close these guys out. And I guess I'm creating a star right here. And I don't want to create a star here. I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm going to go here. New star. I'm going to click and drag to gather some of the material. Go up to 25 solar masses. I can click on it and zoom in. I'm going to hit play. I went too fast. Let me try again. I get impatient, so I keep changing the time here. All right, so I'm going to click that, which is exactly what your students are going to do. This is me modeling how your students will play with it right here. Let's see. So I'm going to click play again. So you'll see I got a little protostar. Even tells you what's happening down here as it happens. I don't know if you guys can see that on your screen, but we've got little planets that have developed. I got a little solar system. There's one little guy I'm following. There's another one. And then if I continue through the life cycle. Okay, now this is the impatience part. There we go. It's happening. It's all going to happen all at once when we hit this end stage. There it goes. It's inflating, inflating, inflating. Red giant. And I can zoom out if I think it's too big. You'll also see that I have a graph. So I've got a composition graph. So currently, now that I'm in red giant phase, I'm only burning helium. You come over here to the HR diagram. You can see where it is on the diagram. And then you also get bright line spectra and emission line spectra, which is my favorite part. And then let me go a little bit faster here. And now I'm going to zoom in again. I've got a neutron star here, and then, no, not a neutron star. I've got a black hole at the conclusion. Now, the other part of this that's cool is I've gone and hit this play button every time to get from one stage to the next. You can also just grab this little guy and you can move it. And watch the solar system go away. Okay, so that is stellar nursery. And then finally, astronomical time. So we have 3 versions of the timeline that's available on the website. We have geologic time alone, we have astronomical time alone, and then this one is deep time. So deep time is everything. You'll see here that there is a button at the bottom that is not working for me today. Maybe if I hit refresh. One moment. I'll go read questions. Lisa, your question about star formation, I don't know what those stand for, but all of the data comes from one of the scientists that we have here at ASU. So he provided us all of the data that we needed. Hey, look at that. Reloading did the thing. I love it. Oh. Looks like it refreshed. Okay, so this one is build the timeline. So if any of you are like me, I know we've all done it. So if you teach this, you've given your students the adding machine tape, the big roll of white adding machine tape and a meter stick, and ask them to create the geologic time, the geologic timeline. And sometimes they can do this and sometimes they can't. But here we have a way for them to be able to do it digitally. So what they do is they just grab and they bring it down and drop it. You can even zoom in. So I'm just zooming. You see here, I can move along the timeline. I can go all the way up to the timeline and zoom. I'm going to keep zooming. I'm zooming in pretty far. And then I'm going to go all the way down to the bottom, which represents me, my birth. I'm very young. Just born yesterday. There we go. Or tomorrow, according to this timeline. There we go. So then we also have the button here that will set the complete timeline if my computer will allow it. Maybe if we wait very patiently. What I like about this one is that then they can just go in and explore it. And that the students have the opportunity, like it's more about the zooms, like they get the impression of the scale of time as they're zooming in on the timeline, which is a little different from just dropping there we go, if I loaded, which is very different from just dropping the items here. So like if I'm zooming here in the middle section, like I can hover over these different things and see all the events, but ooh, there's a cluster here. Let me zoom into this cluster. So I find this version to be a bit more exploratory, but if you really want your students to build the timeline and practice those math skills, you also have that available in the build your timeline option. And those are the things that I love about these lessons and visualizations. Okay, back over here for questions. Are there worksheets or questions for the students complete? So for the lessons that we create, there's a yes and a no answer to that question about worksheets. All of our older lessons, the ones that we built the first 5 years of the project, all have worksheets that are associated with them. The newest lessons that we're releasing do not, because we're building these more as lab suites. So all of the questions are contained within the digital product. That doesn't mean you can't export the data for each student. There is exportable data if you enroll them. So I'm not sure if that will help you with your digital lab folder for each student or not, Renee. Okay. Okay. Any other questions you have? I noticed that it is in fact 4:30. People are probably going to start heading back here to the room. I'll send up a quick note to folks. Oh, I'm not the host anymore. So we can wait here. Anyway, if you have any questions, I'm here and available to answer those questions. The Slack channel is still available. Yep, yep. If you've been in Slack before, then you should still be able to access it. I do have a survey. Let me go grab that link. Maybe. Maybe not. We will send a survey. That's what we'll do. We'll send a survey after this. I'll be able to use the blog capability. Not yet, Lisa. That's a good question. So we're writing the blogs, and you can, if you are following our blog, you can respond to it. But currently we have not set it up for guest blogs yet. That's a good question. Wendy, are the other session dates the same or other content? It's other content. So what we're doing tomorrow is a getting muddy with Tourette. So we'll get you into the Tourette tool and give you some assets and let you play with them. Next week, we have one that is a sneak peek at our new authoring tool that allows you as an educator to create your own digital content. So we've simplified a process. And then the other thing that we have is kind of a preview of how you can get students to start earning college credit early with one of the courses that we've developed. So, is it possible to make mechanical calculations, make problems and solve them there? You mean in the platform? Is it Bakit? Is that how we say your name? Cool. Let's see. So mechanical calculations, I mean, you can build a lesson where they're required to do the mechanical calculation, and they can input the response into it. I'm thinking through. You can do step by step too, where you ask them to complete a step. They've got to input it correctly. Then you reveal the next step and they have to input that correctly, if that's something you're interested in doing. In Canvas, so these lessons themselves would sit in Canvas, and it's like it's an integrated product. So you could build, I mean, you could build a Canvas lesson that is like this lesson, and then you have a worksheet that goes with it within the same module. Is that what you mean? Oh yeah, yeah. We fully integrate with Canvas, and we've got instructions on the website on how to do that. Okay, I see we have Sina back. Hey, Sina.
Hello.
And we're just missing Mel, I think. But for those of you that are still on the line, we will send out a survey sometime tomorrow. Our surveys are very, very short and always about, what was of value to you and what worked and what didn't work. So please, please, please make sure to complete that survey. And then we have our next session tomorrow, which is all about getting muddy in Tourette. So if you want to learn how to use our Tourette tool, it's going to be quick, easy, fun. We'll give you the assets and the tool, and have you in there and start creating some virtual tours. Woot woot. So thank you all for coming. We appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you again tomorrow or sometime next week, if those sessions are preferable. Hopefully you found something today that you really liked.
I'm a slow typer, so I'm going to ask the question.
All righty.
Are all the sessions different? Like even the ones next week?
Yes.
Okay, good. All right.
Session is
Then
different.
it's signed up for them all. Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you all for coming.
See you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow. Good. I'm glad you're excited, Tanya. All right, Sina, I know you got to run.
Yep, I do.
All right.
Should I close the?
Yep.
Okay, Awesome.
Bye.
Bye-bye.